Sean here, and in this episode, I want to talk to you about the fact that not all of your users are going to be able to figure out how to use all of your B2B SaaS application features. Now, the reason why this is difficult for people like you and I to really comprehend is because we've designed and built our applications to behave in a particular way. So for us, it's all second nature. So it can be kind of easy to forget, even if you're designing your product's experience and you have a lot of expertise in this area, to be as simple and straightforward as possible. There are going to be users who are still going to struggle to figure it out. Now, primarily, this is why I'm such an advocate for focusing in the area of what I consider to be micro SaaS, as in keep your product as simple as possible, especially in the beginning. But realistically, you should almost never really make it all that complicated. Try to boil that down and make it as simple as possible, because these things are difficult for people to figure out, especially if it's something new. And what we're doing is innovative in that more than likely we're bringing new and improved solutions to market, which means people are going to have to learn, and learning is difficult. But having said all of that, keep that top of mind as often as possible, and that will be a good guiding principle. However, people are still going to, more than likely, if they're converting into free trial users or paying customers and they're actually using your product, they're going to ask you questions, and it's going to seem a little weird to you. As in, why are they asking that question? Because you can just do this in the product and that solves the problem. That's normal. That's going to happen seemingly forever. We simply cannot make the product too easy to use to the extent where everyone will be able to figure out how to do everything automatically. So don't be put off by that, but do recognize the fact that you might need to explain something that you weren't expecting to have to explain. But that's okay, right? The good news is they're asking the question. And the better news is that your product arguably already does it. So all you really need to do in this case is just connect the dots. Point them to where they need to go, show them the steps that they need to follow, and more than likely, that should solve their problem. Now, there's a lot that can be learned from this as well too, as in, don't disregard getting some of this feedback, because it might mean that the workflow you've designed is not as obvious as it could be, or it's suboptimal, and as such, you can optimize it. So that speaks to opportunity as well too, depending on the frequency and volume of these types of requests. Either way, this is all great feedback. And lastly, if you're getting this feedback, even though you know that it's arguably been designed as a feature or functionality already in your product, it may not be working correctly. So technically, nothing may be, may not be setting off any bells or whistles or any of that kind of stuff with your alert system in terms of functionality, but it may not be performing consistently. So that could be helpful to know as well too, which means that if you're getting this kind of feedback from your users, that might point you in the direction of, why don't you go into the product, test whatever it was they're saying is happening or isn't happening, and verify it for yourself. Maybe it's performing in a way that it wasn't designed, or it's underperforming. Either way, also good information for you to know. Wanted to share these stories because I'm getting some of this feedback now myself, and it's helping me in all of these areas. So this is a ton of other content that we'll explore as well too, but consider this a good sign and see what you can do to leverage it to make your product even better.